confirmation. Thanks very much, guys. Look, I'm going to give a bit of a spray in this live, and you know, if you've got sensitive ears, then switch it off and go somewhere else, because I'm going to give a bit of a spray to the Australian trade union movement, because I've got a few things to say, and I want to get a few things off my chest. Now, before I get into my spray, I just want to again confirm to all of you who I am. Okay? Now, I am not anti-trade unionist. I have never been anti-trade unionist. My father is a life member of the Maritime Union. My brother's a life member of the Queensland Firefighters Union. I myself have been president of Trades Hall Council in Canberra for 3 years. I've been secretary of the CFMEU in Canberra 5 years, the old Federated Engine Drivers Trade Union, now CFMEU. I've been senior industrial officer for the Commonwealth Public Service Union in Canberra. I've been senior industrial officer for the Federated Clerks Union up here in Queensland. I've worked blue collar, white collar, private sector, public sector, peak trade union, and also a shit kicker on the ground. So I can tell you now, I am not anti-trade unions. So I want to open up, if I can, just give me a tick. Now I just want to give you a couple of details. Look, even when I was not working for the trade unions, okay, even when I was not working for the trade unions, I've done a lot for trade union people. A number of years back, 15 odd years ago, I was contacted when I was in Brisbane by the rank and file in Canberra, the assistant secretary of the CFMEU, a guy by the name of Glenn Parry, and I knew Glenn well. He was a very decent man, was dying. He was dying with pancreatic cancer, and the secretary of the union, a woman called Sarah Schoonwater, who's now a partner with Slater and Gordon, chopped all of his income off. No sick leave, no holiday pay, ran out of any entitlements. So the poor bastard was dying, and he was literally on the bones of his ass. Now, I was contacted by the people down in Canberra, the rank and file construction workers. I was in Brisbane, and they asked me would I come down to Canberra and to come to a fundraiser. Now, I flew to Canberra. I flew to Canberra to see Glenn and pass on my final best wishes to Glenn. And at the fundraiser, I rocked up with $15,000 in cash. It's probably worth $25,000, $30,000 now. $15,000 in cash, and I dropped it into the fundraising tin. Hardly any of the boys down there had any money, because there was no work in Canberra, no construction work. So most of them were on the bones of their ass. But I weighed in. So I want everyone out there to be absolutely clear in their heads. I am not a right-wing extremist. I came from the left. The communists mentored me. They trained me. I am not an extremist from the right wing, and I am not anti-trade union. So in today's spray, I want you to keep that in mind. I also have a track record of defending my unions against corruption. 20 odd years ago, more, 30 years ago now, I flew to Brisbane when we had federal intervention against the CFMEU. The entire leadership of the trade union was corrupt as they come. They were corrupt as they come. They were all in bed with the executive of the Queensland branch of the Australian Labor Party. They were using union funds for prostitutions, for big debauched parties, and all of this nonsense. So the federal branch of the union came out, and I came with them, and we cleaned them all out. We cleaned them out, despite the pleadings of the Australian Labor Party in Queensland to let it all go until the election was ended. We told them to go and get stuffed. We couldn't give a shit about the ALP. We only cared about having a clean and honest trade union. So I want to make this clear. I am not anti-trade unions, but I'm against corruption, and I'm against trade union leaderships, mate, that shit on their members. That's what I'm against. The next thing I want to touch upon, if I may, is that, just a minute, I've got to watch me boat, so just hang on for one tick. Look, the next thing I want to touch upon is about me. I talk to you, I come to this discussion, I come to this table with clean hands. I don't have any agendas, none whatsoever, none. I'm not part of, I don't take anything from the government at all, at all. I'm not part of any political party, but I have been. I've been a member of the ALP, and I've also been a member of the Pirate Party of Australia. Both of them useless. Both of them totally and utterly useless. You won't find any political solutions with that pack of shitheads. You will never hear me ever say that I want to start a political party under any circumstances. You will never hear me ever say that I will stand for Parliament in any circumstances. I will never do it. I'm not interested. Do you understand me? I will never ask you for any money, ever. I am independently wealthy. I take nothing from no one. I owe no one. You will never hear me ask you for any money at all. In fact, I'm normally the one that donates, as I just indicated to you with the death of Glenn Parry. I do not lead any double lives. I don't fuck kids. You'll never ever have anything on me. I can't be blackmailed. I can't be bullied. I can't be cajoled. I can't be bribed. So I come to you with clean hands. I carry all of the normal, hang-ups given from my background and my life's experience. So I just say to you that yes, I do have all the normal prejudices, all of that stuff, but I come to you with clean hands. And what I've got to say here is from the bottom of my heart, and it doesn't, there's no agenda attached, none whatsoever. Look, I'm the last of the Mohicans, you guys. I am the last of the Mohicans, mate. I'm the last connections in with the old world, the Industrial Revolution, all the old communists, as well as all the old bloody National Civic Councillors, the National Trade Unions of yesteryear. I knew these kids. I knew these people. I was only a kid when I knew them. I knew them. I'm the last of the Mohicans, and to have a connection in this world. Okay, so I'm passing on to you what I know and how I feel about a few things. Now I want to talk about Daniel Andrews and all of this lockdown in Melbourne. Okay. But this applies all over Australia. I want to talk about Daniel Andrews, but the same things apply all over Australia. Look, Daniel Andrews is a bitch. He's a bitch. We just got to know whose bitch he is. Daniel Andrews cannot move. He can't do anything, unless he gets clearance. Do you understand me? Now, whose bitch is he? Daniel Andrews is owned by the Victorian factions inside of the Australian Labor Party. He's owned by the factions. The question is, you need to understand who owns the factions. Well, the factions in Victoria are owned by the Victorian trade unions, and also their head office, the Australian Council of Trade Unions, which is headed up by Sally McManus, a man-hating feminist. Sally McManus and all these bloody feminists hate men. You got to understand that. The Victorian trade unions and the ACTU, you got to get it in your heads, they are fully behind, fully supportive of all of these lockdowns. You've not heard one word, not one single word from any of them to challenge any of these lockdowns, mate. They are all in on it. The Victorian trade unions could have ended all of this lockdown in 72 hours, mate. It would have been all over Red Rover. all over Red Rover. And I'll tell you how. The Victorian trade unions only needed one of their members to have suffered an OH&S complication from wearing a mask. One shop assistant at Bunnings, one shop assistant at Woolworths, any of them. They could have lodged a dispute before the Australian Workplace Relations Commission if they had one scaffolder, one electrician, one crane driver, any of them that suffered any unplanned loss of income, any of that. They could have lodged a dispute inside of the Workplace Relations Commission and they would have had immediate access. Immediate access. There's no waiting there, mate. They get straight in. Now, the Victorian trade unions, like the ACTU, they have on their staff the best health and safety people in Australia. The best. I know many of them. Any of these people could have been called into play to give expert evidence as to what these lockdowns have been doing and how unjustified they were. In fact, they could have challenged the whole coronavirus narrative in its entirety. They could have called witnesses from anywhere in the world, either in person by flying them over or by video conferencing. The Workplace Relations Commission allows for all of that to happen. You understand? They could have challenged this whole bullshit narrative up front. They could have taken it down, and the powers of the Workplace Relations Commission are phenomenal. They can subpoena, they can call witnesses, they can get evidence on transcript, you name it, you name it. So I'm just saying to you, the Victorian trade unions, as indeed the ACTU, are all in on this bloody bullshit. It's a fraud. It's kabuki theatre. We all know it. None of it stacks up. So I'm telling you now, the Victorian trade unions have a lot to answer for. Daniel Andrews is just their front bitch. You can throw whatever you like at him, but it doesn't matter, mate. It doesn't matter. The people behind all of this shit are people that are in the shadows. I'll be buggered why I know everyone keeps marching to this friggin' shrine all the time. You should be marching down to Trades Hall and bloody dragging some of them arseholes out on their bloody ears and getting them demanding some bloody accountability from those bloody bastards. All of the trade unions have been infiltrated, mate. Infiltrated. They are not representing the working class. They are scabbing on the working class. Do you understand it? They are scabbing. They do not see Australia as a nation. They see it as a piece of real estate. That's all. A piece of real estate to be sold to the highest bidder, which happens to be China. They're all in bed with the Belt and Road and Chinese agenda. They're handing all you trade union members out there, they're handing your asses to China. You got me on a platter, And don't expect these trade unions, mate, to defend you against any forced vaccinations and forced medical procedures. You watch them, mate. You watch them. It will be no jab, no job. And they will back up. They will back up the big corporates in this regard. You have got no protection from these bastards when it comes to forced vaccinations and forced medical procedures. You've got to bear with me. I've got to keep watching my course and I've got to keep watching my instruments. So if you see me, just look away. I've got to keep doing this. I want to give you another example of the bloody trade unions, right? Up here in Queensland, just as an example, right? The Nurses Union, the Queensland Nurses Union, right, have agreed they are in full compliance for the government to introduce a mandatory 10-year jail sentence. A 10 years in jail if they so much as speak out against vaccinations, even if they question the vaccination safety. It's 10 years in jail. The Queensland Nurses Union are supposed to be protecting nurses, You watch. All those frontline nurses, mate, will be lined up en masse and forced into vaccinations. It'll be no jab, no job. You watch it. This is where it's all going. Do not expect any protections. The Australian trade unions are right in with all of this bloody narrative as it goes to coronavirus, or they're right in to all of this narrative to the global warming fraud, and we all know that's bullshit. It's all bullshit. They're all in with Black Lives Matter. They're all in with this Extinction Rebellion. The lot of it. They are fully on board with disrupting Australia and destabilising Australia, and to make sure that no one out there has a clear day, a level day where they can actually sit down and think about things. This is an age-old tactic, mate. An age-old tactic. Disrupt. Now I want to move on to the International Trade Union Confederation, right? Now the International Trade Union Confederation is in Brussels, right? Their head office is in Brussels, right where all the EU bureaucracy is, mate. Sharon Burrows is the president. Sharon Burrows is the former president of the ACTU here in Australia. Now she heads up the International Trade Union Confederation. And have a look at Sharon, right? She is a annual guest, a big guest, or every year, mate, since she's been there. She goes to the Davos. She sits around with all the big corporate giants of the world, kissing up to them and snuggling up to them. She co-chairs meetings and discussion groups with Christine Lagarde from the International Monetary Federation and the World Economic Forum. Sharon Burrows and the International Trade Union Confederation are in lockstep with this global new world order. They are in lockstep with all of this coronavirus bullshit. They are in lockstep with all of this global warming bullshit, with Black Lives Matter, with Extinction Rebellion, and all of this other horse shit, mate. It's all goes down, mate. And again, these feminist women, mate, they hate you, mate. They hate you. You've got to understand, mate, they are no friend to the working man and the working woman whatsoever. You're all cattle. You're all cattle to these people. One of the principal reasons why they hate you, and again, all you blue-collar men out there, you want to start waking up. These feminist women out there, they hate your guts, and you want to know why? Because you won't put lipstick and pantyhose on and suck another man's cock. They hate yous. They hate yous. They hate all you women out there because you won't hand your children up to these cross-dressing fucking pedophiles and let them be raped and molested. Up here in Queensland at the Brisbane City Council, they had these stinking cross-dressing pedophiles. One of them had a name of Rimlicker. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? They tell you, be tolerant. Be tolerant to this filth. And because you won't read your kids' pornography as a bedside story, okay, and because you won't let these school teachers read pornography to your kids at primary school, 8-year-old kids, 7-year-old kids, they hate your guts. You got to understand it, mate. They are not your friends. They hate you men and they hate you women. They despise yous. Most of the men who run in these unions, all they want to do is to hand your collective arseholes over to China on a silver platter. You understand that? They're all compromised. They're all corrupt. They stink. They stink. And I've fought corrupt trade union leaderships before. I've been mentioned in books. Comrade Courageous. I've been written up in a book, for Christ's sake. I've got form fighting these maggots, and I'm telling you now, mate, the whole lot of them are corrupted now. The whole bloody lot. I've got to check instruments. Look, what we're dealing with, mate, what we are dealing with is big government, big government, mate, big trade unions, big corporations, and big church, i.e. the Vatican, all in bed together, mate, all in bed together to do us over, right? And they have in league supporting it, facilitating it, all their usual apparatus, the Freemasons, the Jesuits, they've got the bloody Fabians, the communists, the Marxists. There's an unholy alliance between all of these bloody bastards behind the scenes, mate, and that's what you are fighting. That's what we are fighting. You got me? We're at a war, mate. And it's not for our bloody sovereignty, it's for our fucking kids. Kids, they disarmed us here in Australia, not because they wanted our country, they already had our fucking country. They want our kids. Do you understand me? They're freaks, man. They are freaks. We are being governed and run by vast pedophile networks, all being blackmailed. They're all compromised. I'm telling you, man, we are infected, mate. We've got a very bad infection in our country, brothers and sisters. And if we don't clean this infection up, mate, we are in a lot of trouble. I mean, we'll have to cut off our arm at first, but it won't be too long. We'll be cutting our arms and legs off. And then we'll die. We will die as a country if we don't clean this infection up. You understand me? Look, I'm going to start to wrap this up, right, because I'm at sea and I'm heading out into open water now, so I just can't be distracted. But look, I've been bashed and bagged and all the rest of it by the usual bloody buffheads who've never done nothing in their life. They've never fought a battle or a war or any of this stuff. I've done a lot of it, mate. I am the last of the Mohicans, baby. But I'm going to tell you where I'm going to go and what my fight is from here. Number one, I've drafted a letter, and as soon as I can safely get across the border, I've drafted a letter to President Trump in the USA. I'm heading to Canberra. I am going to see the ambassador, the American ambassador. You understand? He will receive me. He will receive me. I have standing, okay? Providing the timing is right and availability is all right, he will receive me. Now, I am going to give the American ambassador a letter addressed to President Trump, calling for President Trump to deregister all of these fake sovereign corporations that are all written in word art and dog Latin and all that other bullshit. I want them all deregistered off the United States Security and Exchange Commission. I don't fucking care how he does it. I don't care. But I want the Brigalow Corporation, the Commonwealth of Australia, the Queensland Police Force, and all these other fake corporations that are registered in Australia on the United States Security and Exchange Commission. I want him to strike the lot of them off. They're fake, absolute fake. So that's I don't care if he wipes out the entire United States Security and Exchange Commission registrar. I don't care how he does it. But I want all of these fake corporate bloody sovereign names taken off. Now, the second thing I'm going to be pushing for is a declaration of independence for Australia. A declaration from the Queen and all of her bloody sovereign, bloody royal pedophile bullshit. The declaration of independence away from the Vatican, away from the United Nations, the lot of them. I'm going to be pushing for that. I'm also going to be pushing for a Bill of Rights here in Australia so that we can protect ourselves, that we have rights that can't be interfered with by the political process. And the last thing I'm going to be pushing for is a treaty with the black man. I'm over it, mate. We got to do a deal with the Australian First Peoples. We got to do a deal with them and get rid of this bullshit. So they're the four things I'm going to commit my time to. They're the four things I'm going to push for. And I don't give a shit about anyone that tells me I can't do it. I'll do it on me bloody own if I have to. But I'm heading to Canberra. I'm going to be seeing the American ambassador with a letter to Donald Trump to deregister all of these bloody corporations parading as sovereigns. I mean, it's outrageous. It's outrageous. A declaration of independence will follow, right? I want a Bill of Rights. You got me. And I want a deal, a handshake deal, locking in a deal with the Australian First Peoples. All right, that's it. I'm going out the port of Brisbane, and it's not safe for me to be distracted too much longer. Thanks for watching.